Alright cricket fans. Buckle up because we've got a thrilling contest lined up. South Africa and Sri Lanka are about to face off in what is essentially a quarter-final of the World Test Championship, WTC. How's that for drama? Two teams that have stumbled and rebuilt over the last couple of cycles are now eyeing a spot in the final at Lord's next June. Sounds like the perfect setup, doesn't it? Let's break it down. Over the last two WTC cycles, these teams haven't exactly been headline grabbers. South Africa lost over half the series they played, and Sri Lanka hovered around the middle to lower half of the points table. These were teams deep in transition, trying to figure out the right combinations, relying on building blocks rather than end results. But now, they're done playing in the basement, they're looking to climb to the top floor, and this series could be their elevator. Sri Lanka's confidence is coming from their batting lineup, which is starting to feel like a reliable force. They've won 6 of their last 8 tests and crossed the 400 mark 4 times in that span. That's not just talk, that's performance. Kamindu Mendis has been sensational. He's the leading run scorer of this WTC cycle, sitting 7th overall. Dhananjaya de Silva isn't far behind, both with 300s and plenty of 50s between them. Together, they've anchored Sri Lanka's rise, with Mendis scoring runs everywhere from Silhit to Manchester and Gal. That kind of adaptability makes Sri Lanka a real threat in South African conditions. As Dhananjaya put it, it's hard to get runs anywhere these days, but we've got a good mix of experience and young talent. This is the best team we've had in a long time, and we're ready to prove it. If Sri Lanka's game revolves around their batting, South Africa's revolves around their bowling. And let's be honest, they have one of the most fearsome attacks in world cricket. Kagiso Rabada is leading the charge as the top bowler of this WTC cycle. His numbers are ridiculous. His 313 career wickets are just 16 shy of Sri Lanka's entire 6-man pace attack combined. Let that sink in. But it's not just Rabada. Marco Jansen Gerald Coetzee bring raw pace and energy, and don't forget Keshav Maharaj, who's also been one of the standouts. South Africa's bowling average this cycle is 24.13, the second best in the WTC. And while their batting hasn't been the standout feature, they've shown depth. 700s in this cycle, each by a different player, including 5 by batters who scored their maiden tons. Captain Temba Bavuma summed it up perfectly. We've got a group of guys who can do something special, and there's a sense that this team is starting to settle and gel. The key battle, Sri Lankan batters versus South African bowlers. Let's face it, the series will hinge on how well Sri Lanka's batters can handle South Africa's bowlers. The pitches aren't expected to be overly seam-friendly, but you know Rabada and company will find a way to make life difficult. That said, Sri Lanka's confidence is sky-high after their performances in England, where they managed to win at the Oval and push England hard. They're ready to take that momentum into South Africa. On the other hand, South Africa is riding high after a rare series win in the subcontinent. Bavuma and his squad feel like they've found their groove, and they're determined to make this WTC cycle count. Both teams have 4 matches left in this cycle, and whoever wins this series can start dreaming about Lord's. This isn't just a series, it's a shot at redemption, validation, and maybe even glory. So, let's get ready for 2 weeks of high-quality Test cricket. South Africa versus Sri Lanka, 2 teams with everything to prove and everything to play for. Who's your pick to take the first step toward the WTC final? Let's wait and watch. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe and spread the word.